Hi, my name is Ed Fay with CMC America, and I'm doing an introductory videotape for a 16 SDE depositor. 16 SDE depositor is used primarily for chemically leavened bakery goods production. It's a pan-based operation, so we're dropping pieces of product, dough products onto a pan, into muffin cups, onto a variety of impression pans, etc. But it's a pan-based machine. I want to just introduce the machine to you. This is what it would look like, similar to this, when it arrives at your bakery. And when that happens, it needs to be assembled. Casters need to be put on it, but the head of the depositor you would need to disassemble before you go into any production. So a couple of basic things. When a machine arrives at your bakery and you want to be sure that it's operational, you would want to do an initial test. This machine has only one source of energy, and it's electric, and it's 110 volt. It's a standard household plug. Actually, we'd like a little higher. We'd like 20 amp service. Some homes have 15, but in most commercial operations, 20 is minimum. A 20 amp, 110 volt plug. So to do an initial check to be sure that your machine is operational without any damage in shipping, so long as it's in condition like this, you would want to plug it in. Always remember that plugging in a machine makes it operational and live. So safety issues have to be respected. Keep fingers away from all moving parts. There are safety labels around the machine reminding you that your fingers are yours, and let's keep it that way. So an initial test for operation. Once it's plugged in, you have power to the machine. Is it able to run for you? And so this is a very simple machine. It has start and stop, and then adjustment for speeds on the extruding rollers and on the cutting head, or on the cutting wire assembly. So an initial check, is your machine ready to go? You can adjust the speeds of the rollers, and you can adjust the speeds of the cutting head. Mushroom stop is for all emergency ceasing of operations. That's an important first step, but we want to make sure that the machine is clean before you ever produce product for our customers. And so the first thing to do when you adjust the machine, when you prepare it for cleaning, or begin to disassemble it in any way, you need to remove all sources of energy. That's a requirement by the federal government and Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and and so OSHA requirements. That's always good practice with every machine to consider your safety and keeping your fingers with you. When it comes to initial disassembly, the guard of the machine is a passive guard. It sits in place and it inserts between the extruding, or between the hopper guard and the die holder. This lip inserts into that ledge and then falls onto these pins. The head of the machine is disassembly without use of tools. That means it's easy to take apart and easy to put together. You don't need special tools or anything. And always remember that all these parts are dishwasher safe. So you can take all of these and send them off to a pot and pan washer if you have one, or certainly clean them by hand at the sink. The other important thing to consider is that this head comes apart easily and goes back together. It's a practiced art. It takes a little bit of experience to do it, but most important, you cannot put this machine together incorrectly. It will not go together incorrectly. The parts have been engineered and designed so that it goes together only one way. If you have a problem assembling this machine, at any time, stop and please call our offices and we will be glad to go through this. The other truth is that you can snap a photograph of our QR codes that are located on the machine, and you can go to a YouTube video that will show you how to assemble and disassemble the machine safely. That's the purpose of this video. So anyway, the only real mechanical part for assembly and disassembly are these two latches. And there's a simple cover hasp and then the clasp itself. If you take both of these pieces together and hold them with your thumb and forefinger, you can lift up the roll holder, and by putting your thumbs on the roller ends, you can remove the roll holder. It has locating pins on the bottom that fall into these locations, so when we put it back together, you know where home is. At this point, the extruding rollers easily removed from the machine. The aluminum, these are Almag extruding rollers, aluminum magnesium. They have teeth in them, so there is the right and wrong way to put them into the machine. But other than that, it slides right out. The other roll slides out. We have these washers that help reduce any bleeding or moving of the dough out of the machine while it's in operation. This is the die holder, and this is the die, and this is the hopper. At this point, we would lift the die holder out of its locating pins and move it slightly back so that we can now put our hand under here and the hand on the back side of the hopper off the machine. Again, this goes off to the pot and pan washer for cleaning. Once that's disassembled, the last two pieces in proximity or in direct contact with dough are the die holder, and so you can, because there's no power, you can lift this up, out easily, and then the die holder. The die holder slides into these two notches and is supported by these two pins. They also have locating pins at this end, which fall into these two different pin locations. So you can't put the machine together incorrectly. If you try to put the roll holder pins here, they won't fit. They only fit on these pins. And after cleaning, we reverse the entire assembly or disassembly process. We take the die holder as the first part to go in. We take a die and fall in. You can put it in one way or the other without mistake. So it's easy to put in and not guess on to how to, where to, or how approximate. It's all done for you. Once that's done, I like to make sure there's a little room back here for the hopper to fit in. And one other thing to show you is the bayonet pin setup. So the extruding rollers will fit into these bayonet pins and be driven by them. So here we are with the die in the machine. The next part is the hopper. And the hopper hangs on this pin. So slide it down and it hangs there. Then we can push the die holder until it falls into its locating holes. Put the washers on the rollers. Now this roller, these rounded sides always are on the outside, and the bayonet pins always are on the inside to the drive pins. But these teeth, so this we want these teeth always to be pointing to the center of the hopper. So this roll with the teeth going to the center of the hopper goes on this side. Once it's here, we can rotate it and it'll lock in. This bayonet pin fits in this side. These teeth to the center, at the peak of the locked on. Our washers, and then grabbing both pieces of the latch assembly, lift. I use my fingers to lift. Falls into the locating holes, and then we tighten these latches. Now when we tighten the latches, we don't want them to be so tight that you need tools or any extra effort to close them. A nice little snap is all you need. And then the last step is to relocate the safety guard. Relocate the safety guard and slide that in place, and it sits on the pins. That's the basic introduction and initial assembly and disassembly of the head of the machine. This is good reference. It takes some practice. It is not difficult, and all the parts are generally ready for dishwasher cleaning. Usually this guard is cleaned with a soapy rag and maybe some sanitizer, but usually doesn't go through the pot and pan washer. It can. Anyway, I hope this gives you an initial introduction. Let's check and make sure that we're back in the same operating condition as before. Remember that we've been doing all this work without any power. We'll reestablish power. Do a quick test to make sure everything is Thank you for your attention.